One comment here. First of all, the truth is there are only two key buyers of Russian crude flows. Number one is China, number two is India. And this excuse from India that, well, they told us to buy the oil simply isn't going to fly with the Americans, who are renewing this push to crack down on Russia and try and bring an end to the war in Ukraine. Clearly, the messaging from the Indian side is the fact that the economy is growing, the population's growing. We need as much oil as we can, and we're attempting to diversify those sources. But that's not really going to land with the U.S. Senate, who's attempting to push forward this sanctions bill.
That's right.
Your take?
And to be fair, Dan, it cuts both ways, doesn't it? I mean, there's clear U.S. vested interests to sell more oil to India, especially under a US-India bilateral trade agreement. And this is really important. I think this is really where the rubber hits the road in terms of where India stands and making a decision in terms of the oil that it buys from Russia and the oil that it buys from the US and other sources as well. But can I just say, and really commend you for your robust line of questioning, which in fact is something that Minister Puri really welcomes from the press. And he is a consummate and a very skillful diplomat, as you noticed there. But I've interviewed Minister Puri before, and the last time I did so was in February at the India Energy Week, and my producer and my team were kept waiting for 4 hours. Why was that? Because he was talking and in and out of bilateral negotiations with the Russians, with the Venezuelans and PDVSA, with Brazil and Petrobras. So that really speaks volumes to me, and it shows just how far India is prepared to go in terms of supply security when it comes to oil and gas and diversification. And he told you himself, 40 suppliers compared to 27 not too long ago. So they've really been doubling down on this. But I really feel that the trade negotiations that are underway with the US at the moment is really going to be quite imperative in terms of where India stands with its overall energy policy and its oil purchases. So that's going to be very interesting. But this is really classic Minister Puri, isn't it, in many ways? He continues to defend that he is buying, and I asked him the same question. Why buy oil, and how much pressure are you under from the international community, from the US, to buy sanctioned oil? And his answer was the same as his answer was to you, and that is they are acting within the price cap, they are acting within international norms, and they are doing this ultimately for the Indian consumer, for a price stability and supply security point of view.
Indeed. And Sri, I think you made a great point as well with regards to the US own goal here. Of course, the United States attempting to negotiate a trade deal. So by threatening this fresh package of sanctions on a critical industry inside India, then perhaps President Trump is able to extract more concessions. Also, on the other hand here, you have to remember as well, as India attempts to diversify those energy sources, it's also looking at the key OPEC players here who have that additional capacity to supply.
Exactly.
And of course, the United States as well. Of course, the US wants to be doing more energy deals, wants to be exporting its own hydrocarbons, and it sees India as a top buyer of that oil as well. Sri, one other point here. Remember, the Indians have also said that they would like to do more energy and investment deals with the United States. So there is a clear money flow behind not just this hydrocarbon transaction. And I think what we can expect to see over the next couple of weeks and months is going to be perhaps insights on exactly what that potential tariff might look like. We've seen reports of 500%. Whether or not that's true or not, we simply don't know. And the other thing to look out for here is exactly what the US is seeking to achieve from India as these headlines continue to develop. So, Sri, it's such an interesting story. I know you'll be fully across it on your own show.